to Katrina's Creations. This is episode 226. If you are a new viewer, thank you so much for stopping by. And if you like what you see, please click that little red subscribe button down below. And if you click the little bell-shaped icon next to it, that will let you know anytime I post a video, which is always on Saturdays and usually on Wednesdays. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming by each week. I do really appreciate it. And if you enjoy this video, please give me a thumbs up. So first off, what am I wearing? I am wearing my Virus Meets Granny. I always get confused. Is it Virus Meets Granny or Granny Meets Virus? Let me know down below, but I'm wearing that. And it's too big to show it actually off. Besides, it's cold. So I'm going to insert a picture of what it looks like. And this is one of my favorite shawls. It is a fingering weight, and the three yarns that are used, I will hold this up so you can see it, the gray and the cranberry, which is actually called raspberry, are Ella Ray Cozy Soft, and the multicolored here is Ancient Art Fibers, which is a hand-dyed yarn. And it is super, super soft. And when I was making this, I ran out of this color. And my local yarn shop did not have any more either. And thankfully for a very kind viewer, and she knows who she is, she found some and sent it to me so I could finish this. So every time I wear this, and it is very warm and snuggly, and it's one of these oversized shawls that kind of just wraps around you like a big hug. So every time I wear it, I remember her kindness, and so it means extra special to me. So yes, that's what I'm wearing right now. So let's get started. Now, my first thing that I have in my works in progress, I have no finished objects today. I probably would have, but I ripped something out. So I'll show you that first. First is my Christmas tree skirt. And you know, I've been crocheting with this, and it just occurred to me today, my crochet hook matches the tree skirt. Always like to be a fashion plate, so you know, got to coordinate here. This is a 4mm hook, and this is one of those rubber ergonomic, it's not a clover, but it's a copy of a clover. I have a whole set that I got, I think it was 14 hooks for under $10. I think it was $9.97, something like that. It's in the Amazon link down below if you are interested in the full set. I love these. These are the ones I use all the time. And the yarn that I am using is super sparkly, as you can see. And this is Universal Yarns, and it is called Sparkle, or Spangle. It's called Spangle. And this is Caribbean Sparkle, I think is the name of the color. It's kind of a tealy blue. And the funny thing is, okay, I bought 4 skeins of this. This is the 3rd skein. I have one more to go. I had just gotten into the 3rd skein, and I looked at what I had done, and it was entirely too roughly. It reminded me almost one of those Elizabethan collars that kind of, my shawl's crooked, kind of reminded me of the Elizabethan collars that were all ruffly and everything. That's what it looked like. It was just, I was spending so much time going around just to get around that I was really burning through the yarn quickly. And the tree skirt wasn't going to be very long. So I ripped the whole thing out. I modified the pattern a little bit. I just had too many increases. So here's what it looks like now. Let me hold it right side up. So there it is, and I'll try to get in close because it kind of looks like little Christmas trees, if you can see the light little triangle shapes in there. That wasn't what I was kind of going for, but that's kind of what turned out. So yeah, that's what I've got. And so it is right now probably about 8 inches wide. And I also made it smaller in the circle part too, because I had it like twice this width. They could have wrapped around the tree twice, because I have an artificial tree and it has, you know, a little teeny trunk, so I don't need the circle part of it to be too big. So every couple rows I lay this down to make sure that I don't have a huge amount of ruffling going on. There's a little bit of ruffle to it, but not like there was before. So I'm really happy with it. It does look like I'm going to use all 4 skeins at this point just till I run out. So Yoko was teasing me because I was telling her it was so scratchy I could use it for dish scrubbies. I don't think I'm going to have that, Yoko. I don't think I will have enough left over to make my dish scrubbies. So, oh well, no sparkly dish scrubbies for me. So yeah, I'm just going to keep going till I run out and we'll see how far I get. But I have 1 more skein to go. So I'm hoping that it'll be about 12 inches by the time I finish. Somewhere in that ballpark. So that's project number 1. Project number 2 is my colorwork sweater. There's not a whole lot of excitement here because at this point I am on the body and just going around and around and around. Other than the increases I'm doing. So I'll show you where I was last week. Here's where I was, and here's where I'm at now. So I've gone about 3.5 to 4 inches, somewhere around there. I think it's close to 4 inches at this point. And you do an increase under the sleeves every inch. You do like a double increase. You have 2 increased stitches. So because this is so dark, of course, it's not going to show up really great. So I'm going to insert a picture of what this really looks like. And you can see the increases in it. So here is the whole sweater at this point. So there's the top. And that's how far I am going down. And I have roughly about 6 inches that I've done under the sleeves at this point. So that's how far down the body I am. So I'm getting ready to do my 6th increase on both sides. So it's kind of makes it a little bit A-line as it goes under the arms. It's going to come out a little bit to incorporate the hips and everything. Yeah, some of us need to increase more than others. But anyway, here's my sweater. And apparently I'm not the only one that likes my sweater. Cricket the dog likes my sweater too. It fell on the floor and she ran over and laid down on it. She loves knitted and crocheted things. If there's anything laying on the floor that's knitted or crocheted, or even skeins of yarn, she will go climb on top of them. So I don't know why, but she loves them. So anyway, yes, apparently she likes my colorwork sweater, but it's not going on the floor again where she can make it into her cozy little bed. Next we come to my scrappy blanket, and Beverly Simmons, you will be very proud of me. She's been teasing me about all the ends I had to weave in. Because I was being lazy. I was not weaving my ends in as I went. So I did not get as many squares done this week. However, I did get all of my ends woven in. I'll show you the back because that's where it really shows. So there you go. Note to self, weave them in as I go. Or I think in my case, I'll wait till I get a row at a time and then I'll weave it in. So I only have, let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares that I did this week, just so I could finish out 1 whole row, because my whole goal is to do 1 whole row at a time, which will be 12, because it's 12 squares all the way across. So we have this one, and this yarn is called Ubiquitous. It's from Lidditz, Pennsylvania, and this was some yarn that was hand dyed to match the store. So I have that, and I have this tan. It's a tonal. There's different shades of tan in it. And then this was a Christmas yarn, but there wasn't enough of it to make a square, so I took some black and kind of striped it. And then this is, once again, some of the yarn from one of the cowls that I made. And this is like a rust, tonal rust color. And this is, oh, you know what? I showed you the wrong one. This is not Ubiquitous. This is Ubiquitous. But isn't it funny? They've got the same, I never noticed that. They've got the same colors in it. I wondered why this one had so much white and such a little teeny bit of orange, where this one has the orange and the teal and the white. So it's got the same colors, it's just the differences are more. But anyway, this is ubiquitous. And then this is called Rose Gold. And this was yarn from a Knit Crate sock yarn that they sent me. This is more of one of my, it does have a slight sparkle to it. Doesn't show up a whole lot, but there's a little bit of, very little bit, but there's a little bit of sparkle. This was also one of my cowls. And then we had this pink and a tan. And this is another one of my cowls. And pink here. So somehow they look like a lot of the same colors I used last week, but it isn't. They are the same colors, but it's a different row. I just spaced them out a little bit. So that is my blanket, but the ends are wove in. So now I think from here on out, every time I finish the end of a row, I will weave in that bunch at that point. So now it's time to take a look at what you all have been making. That's the magazine rack. This one is oak. The one upstairs is maple. And it has two really wide drop leaves. Now, this table is not up as high as it could be. I'm going to pan back so you can see it in comparison to the sofa. So it's like end table size. However, this little knob right here, and you can see there's little holes here, you can adjust the size. This actually can raise up another probably 6 to 8 inches. And right now it's probably up, I don't know, it comes up, they said it comes up to the arm of the chair. So it would come up to table height if you really wanted it to. I've never put it up that high, but it can come to table height. But here's the cool part. So here's what the table does that's really cool. Aside from lifting up, you can actually slide it. You can slide it and just put one side of the drop leaf table down, or the entire top spins, slides over the base, and now you can see it's down like this. And if you drop it all the way down, it's only this tall, which is maybe 1.5 feet. So it goes down to next to no space whatsoever, or up the size of a table. with the 2 drop leaves open. It probably opens about 1.5 as far as length this way, and all the way opened it's probably about 3 feet. So that's the table my dad made. Now, if you're new to the channel and you would like to submit something for show and tell so the rest of us can all drool over your project, you can do so over on the Facebook page, which is Katrina Knits. Or if you don't do Facebook, you can just send me pictures at KatrinasCreations@yahoo.com and tell us a little bit about the pattern, so that way if one of us really likes the pattern, we know what to go look for. So I've gotten a lot of patterns that way, which kind of brings me up to what I've been up to this week. Besides the knitting and the crochet, I've been doing a little house cleaning around the house, you know, getting ready for, it's not spring here yet, it's cold out today, but I've been doing a little bit of cleaning out and decluttering, and I decided to do a little decluttering on my computer as well. I've always had all of the patterns that I've downloaded are just like sitting randomly under one big file that said patterns from other people. And there was no order to it, so I would just see the names of these patterns, but I didn't know whether they were knitted or crocheted or a sweater, or unless they said it in the name, I didn't know what I was looking at. And so I actually reorganized it and made separate folders in there for like crocheted sweaters, knitted sweaters, crocheted shawls, knitted shawls, you know, all that type of thing. And then I put the patterns under the appropriate folder. So that way, if I'm looking for something specific, I can find it easier. So I did that for a little tech work, but I also, if you noticed, in between segments, I'm just trying to see how I like this and whether it works. I'm sticking just some little like intermissions between the different segments. So I'm not sure. I don't know if I'm going to go with it or not. Let me know what you think. It's, like I said, experimental. I just started playing and said, let's try this for a change. So you'll see it in between different segments of the different things that I'm talking about. So anyway, Wednesday's video this week is going to be a compilation of all of the crocheted patterns that I've accumulated. So I'm going to show pictures and the names of the different patterns that are in my queue for crochet projects. And I'll put down the title, the name of what they are, and I will also put in the notations when you watch the video whether I've actually made this pattern or not. So that will be Wednesday's video, and then next Wednesday's video will be the knitted version of it. So be looking for that on Wednesday. Now, the only thing I have in acquisitions this week is one of the viewers, Mary Wanamaker, sent me a postcard. Now, she lives in Staten Island, but she sent me a postcard from New York, which is like right across the river from Staten Island. So that was really cool. I've actually flown right by this before. My husband and I go up to New England. Well, nobody's gone anywhere for the last year, but anyway, we haven't gone for a couple years because of, you know, family health issues and things like that were going on with my father-in-law, and knee surgery with me, and then of course, you know, what happened this year. So anyway, we didn't go anywhere, but we go up to New England a lot. Now, the first time we ever went to New England, we drove over the George Washington Bridge and right through the Bronx of New York. And I could see the silhouette of the big skyscrapers, and I could see the silhouette of the Empire State Building. But I've never actually been through New York. I've gone to LaGuardia, which is the airport that we usually, if we fly up, most of the time we drive, but we've flown a few times. We were flying into LaGuardia just as the sun was coming up, because we took a red eye because it was the cheapest flight, and the plane tilted to come in for a landing, and when he tilted the plane slightly, we could see the Statue of Liberty. We kind of flew right by the side of it as we went through, so it was just really, really pretty to see the city lit up and to see the Statue of Liberty that close from the air. So yeah, every time we go to LaGuardia, we get stuck on the tarmac for a while. We end up or on the runway. It just never fails. Every time we've flown in there, the planes are all backed up, and you end up sitting on the runway for seems like forever, waiting for the planes in front of you to take off. But anyway, I look forward to being able to eventually travel again. So once again, thank you, Mary, for sending me this. So brought back some really neat memories of flying around the Statue of Liberty. Now it's time for Now in our Come and Get It section today, I've got quite a bit, actually. First off is a free thing. I got sent an email. I will put a link to it down below. It is Rebecca Page Crochet Summit. Now it takes place, it's all online. It takes place between April 5th and April 9th. It's free, and it's all kinds of different crochet classes and things like that. I think there's an upgrade where you can pay for it and get like longer access to the classes or forever access to the classes or whatever. But the initial thing is free. You can watch some of these crocheted classes, so I'm going to be checking that out. I've got it on my calendar. So anyway, if you're interested in looking at it, I will put a link to it down below. I'm not affiliated with it or anything like that. It just sounded like fun, because who doesn't like to learn different things about crochet? So the next one is Annie's. Annie's has their new Easter patterns out. They had some really cute amigurumi. I can never pronounce that right. Amigurumi. They had some of that. Lots of little Easter things. But some of their newer spring patterns are out as well. They also, for this month only, so the month of March, because it's National Craft Month, they are offering $1.99 shipping on any order over $15. And they also, in their clearance section, have a lot of yarns for like $3.99. Some of those are Shape Yes. They have Lion Brand Basic Stitch Premium, which I did a yarn haul on that not too long ago. I'll stick a link here if you want to check it out. But it's a nice yarn. I haven't knitted with it yet, but it feels really nice. And it's $3.99. It's an 100% acrylic. They also have Premier Blooms Chunky yarn, which is pretty. It's also $3.99. And they have King Cole Value Super Chunky for $4.99, and Universal Uptown in the worsted weight for $4.99. Now I did buy a skein of that as well, and that's in that same yarn haul. So anyway, that is what is over at Annie's, and I will put a separate link to each of those different things. So I'll put a separate link for the clearance, and I'll put a separate link for the Easter patterns, because I can't put them together, and otherwise you got to really do some searching on the website to find them. So I will put separate links under Annie's for that. Knit Picks is having their sweater weather sale still going on. It's 10% off of 10 skeins of yarn. In other words, enough to make a sweater. Now some of the yarns that they have are a little bit more pricey. There is Provincial Tweed, which is $11.69 per skein with the 10% discount. And they have City Tweed DK, which is $6.29 a skein. However, they have Wool of the Andes worsted weight, which is a nice, like a workhorse yarn. It's a nice quality wool. And with the sale, it would come out to $3.14 per skein. So for a little over $30, you can have a sweater. So it would come out to, I think it's $31.40. That's what it would cost to in yarn. I mean, there's shipping and everything involved, but so anyway, you do need to use the coupon code SWEATER10 at checkout to get that discount. So that is Knit Picks. Now over at the Dollar Tree, and I will also stick some separate links for this one too. They have Premier yarn, which they always have over there. It's like the Premier yarn worsted or something like that. They have a little variety. Just watch how many skeins you need to order, because you have to buy it by the case. So sometimes the case is only 6 skeins of yarn. Sometimes it could be 24. So just make sure what you're getting there. Now they also, this is brand new because they paired up with Crafter's Square, they are now carrying some crochet hooks and knitting needles. It's now the crochet hooks, they have a plastic one, and then they have one that looks similar to this, but it's not the squishy rubbery handle. It's a hard plastic. At least that's what I think it is. It looks like this, but like I said, it's not the rubberized stuff. But anyway, you have to buy a set of 24, so it's 24 to a case, and there's 3 different sizes within that case. So it's a 4.5, a 5, and a 5.5 millimeter hooks that are in there. So you're roughly getting 8 crochet hooks in 3 different sizes is what it comes to. So they offer that in the plastic, and they also offer it in the plastic handled. Now the plastic ones are in a 2-pack, so you actually are getting 48 crochet hooks that are just plastic, you know, like Susan Bates or whatever, or Coates. They're just all plastic. They're not metal. They're just plastic ones. So that one, those sizes range from 4 to 6.5 millimeters. And like I said, there's 48 because it's 2 to a pack, and there's 24. So yeah, so that's their crochet hooks and their yarn. They also have some knitting needles as well, and they have them in plastic, and they also have them in aluminum. Now you might be going, why in the world do you need that many? You really don't, but if you were it's ideal if you're having like a crochet class, if you're teaching a bunch of people or something like that, this is a cheap way to get it. So just in case you're looking for that many crochet hooks or knitting needles, there's your option. So yeah, it's just a cheap way of getting it if you're teaching it like for a class or something. Now, Lion Brand is offering through this weekend only, so it ends on Sunday. They are offering 30% off of their kits. Now you do need to use a coupon code KITS30, so kits 30, and it's 30% off of their kits. Then we come to Knit Crate. Sadly, Knit Crate it's got some problems going on. I received, if you're a member of Knit Crate, you got the email, but if you're not, or you missed the email, I kind of explain what's going on. Knit Crate, because they are having a really hard time because of the global situation that's going on, a lot of the yarn is not getting to them on time. In fact, the January order for the yarn, I had 1 skein of yarn I ordered to go with the rest of some yarn that I got. It's not going to come. They said they can't seem to get it. They're going to have to credit all of those people that ordered everything because they can't fulfill the orders. They've kind of given up trying to get the yarn from there. So a lot of their yarn comes from either, I think it's Peru and Turkey, and I'm not sure where else, but they're really having problems getting the yarn. As a result, they're having to up their prices. And to be honest, I don't know how well that's going to go because they're upping their prices quite a bit. So normally a Knit Crate membership box is $24.99, and it's in an eco bag that, you know, it's biodegradable. It's $24.99, and that includes the shipping. Now they're changing that. The yarn is now going to be $29.99, so it's a $5 increase for the yarn, and they're going to start charging for shipping, and they're charging $7.95 or I think it's $7.95 or $7.99 for the shipping. So, you know, that's like a $13 jump in price by the time you add the two of those together. I don't think that's going to go over well. You know, I hope that I hope the best for them, but I really don't think that's going to work very well. Now, I do get 2 boxes of Knit Crate yarn. 1 box is one that they send me as an influencer. I'm not sure if they're still going to be doing that. If they still send it, I will show it to you, but I will be honest with, as far as I think it's kind of expensive for, you know, it's nice yarn, but it's not that nice a yarn. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's nice, it's luxury yarn, but I'm not willing to spend that much for yarn, especially since I don't get to choose what yarn I'm getting, because that's the other option they're taking away, is you used to be able to change and choose between neutral, bright colors or cool tones. And so you could kind of choose which color scheme you were getting. And they are going back to the surprise, so you don't know what you're going to get when you open up the box. And if it's something you don't like, then you're stuck with some yarn that you paid a lot for that you probably will not use because you don't like the color. So, yeah. Anyway, that's the one box that I get. The other box that I get that normally I would pay for, I have a lot of referrals where you all have bought yarn, and so I get a free month if somebody buys through me. So I've got several of those left. So as far as me buying any more of their yarn, once I run out of those free month referral things, then I will probably be canceling my subscription and, you know, canceling the affiliate link at that point too. So that's what's going on with Knit Crate. Like I said, as long as I still keep getting stuff and it's not costing out of pocket, I'll show it to you. So you can at least see what it is, and it's up to you whether you want to make that investment or not. But yeah, it's kind of sad news to hear that it's you know, this is affecting another business. So anyway, that is the update on Knit Crate in case you weren't aware of it. And that is it for this week. Thank you so much for stopping by. Again, if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And I will see you for Wednesday's video, and you can check out what crochet patterns I've got in my queue. So thanks again for watching, everybody. Bye.